So today, Brittney Howell is with me to talk with us about Frankfort Independent Preschool, who I am very fortunate to have worked with for some time now. And we are just going to give you some information on how your children might qualify for preschool, what that looks like in the school system. So Brittney, can you tell everybody just a little bit how children qualify for the program at Frankfort Independent Preschool?
Yeah, so sometimes we have a little bit of confusion because we have two separate operating programs. We have our Early Learning Academy, that is our child care service that serves 3 and 4-year-olds, and we don't have a lot of limiting factors on who can be enrolled in that program. It is a full-day program, but it operates separately from our public preschool program. So public preschool is half day. We operate Monday through Thursday. We have an AM session and a PM session. They typically run about 3 hours, and they are run by IECE, which is Interdisciplinary Early Childhood Education Certified Teachers. The purpose of public preschool, and we try to kind of protect the integrity of that, is we serve 3-year-olds who present with potential delays, which we are able to identify through a screening, parent need and information. So 3-year-olds who present with a potential delay, or 4-year-olds with a potential delay, or whose families meet income eligibility. And when we say 3-year-olds and 4-year-olds, that's however old the child is on August 1st of that school year. We've had some tuition spots. Right now our tuition priority goes to our families that work in the school district. And so right now the priorities are for our staff children, our 3-year-olds that live in our district. That's a really important factor and component, is you have to live within our district boundaries. Our 3-year-olds who present with potential delays or maybe transitioning out of first steps, and then our 4-year-olds who are going to go to kindergarten with us, whose families meet income eligibility guidelines, or 4-year-olds with potential delays.
And then tell us a little bit about the curriculum that the preschool program uses.
They use creative curriculum, which is a driving curriculum to look at the 5 developmental areas of motor, precognitive academic skills, social emotional development, adaptive development, and motor.
And so what types of therapies or services are provided to preschool children who qualify for those?
Yeah, that's a really great question. So in addition to creative curriculum within the classroom, we use a lot of components of conscious discipline, which is something that you can probably provide a lot of expertise. And second step, which are heavy social emotional programs that really help children learn to identify how to self-regulate, how to solve conflicts, how to maintain emotional control and understand their emotions. But if those basic classroom interventions don't necessarily yield the type of progress that we would like to see for kids who may have a little more complex behavior needs, we do have counseling through the Kentucky Counseling Center that is housed at 2nd Street School, which is where our preschool program lies. And we can do referrals to provide weekly counseling through the Kentucky Counseling Center to our preschool students as well as their families.
And then some services are also provided occupational therapy and speech therapy, correct? Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah, so part of being in public preschool is if you present with a potential delay, sometimes that means that our kids have needs that involve hearing impairments, visual impairments, but also occupational therapy, which we call the small fine motor movements, or big sensory needs. If they're not, kids sometimes are not exactly comfortable in their bodies, maybe not be aware, have awareness of space. Occupational therapy helps with those things as well. And that we have a very specific criteria on how we identify those needs, and also physical therapy. So for our kids that have bigger motor issues, walking, jumping, skipping, hopping, and then also speech therapy, which is probably the most common of the therapies that we do. And if for kids who have not progressed with their speech and language development, so understanding things that are said to them, not being able to communicate like their peers or to their families in a typical way.
And then kindergarten is such a huge component of what preschool is about, getting ready for kindergarten. So tell us a little bit about the program and what it looks like as far as getting children ready for that transition to kindergarten once they're that old.
So one of the services that we offer in addition to public preschool and our early learning academy is just some resources to families. So we know that not every child will qualify for our program or that our program meets the needs of family constructs. So we also want to provide an opportunity for parents to still have the skills and resources that students will need before they enter kindergarten. So we took, our district is big on our profile of the graduate work. And I know that sounds so far away for 3 and 4 year olds or for kids entering preschool, but our district really wanted to say, start with the beginning in mind is what do we need our students to have when they graduate from high school? So we took those skills that we determined as a district and we kind of brought them down to a little more friendly language, and we call that a profile for kindergarten entry. And I'm going to share my screen and I'll kind of show you what that looks like. Okay, so our profile of the kindergartner, profile for kindergarten entry, these are skills that we would love to see for kindergartners entering kindergarten. And we know that 90% of the brain is developed before age 5. So the first 5 years of a child's life matters. Most of the time, if you're watching this presentation, I'm preaching to the choir on those concepts, but we took our profile of the graduate markers and we converted them into a little more preschool, pre-kindergarten friendly language. And those are I can create using creativity and art and expression through building and creation. I play well with others, so that's really looking at that social emotional learning part of being able to solve conflict, and that goes in addition to our one at the bottom that's I'm in charge of my thoughts, feelings, and actions. The other one is I'm a strong communicator and I explore and ask why. So we took those 5 markers and we developed skills that we felt like that were important in order for our students to come in kindergarten ready. So if you look on the right side of this skill checklist, this is aligned specifically with the Briggans. So the Briggans is the screening that we use to determine in the state kindergarten readiness, and all of those skills are located on the right side. On the left side are the skills that we would like to see. We know some of these are kind of subjective, but that's okay. We also know that kids act differently in different environments, but we took those 5 markers and gave some sub skills in each of those main areas that we would like to see kids reach before they get to kindergarten. And this is available for all families in our region.
And you touched on this a little bit, but tell us again the hours of operation for AM
so
and
right
PM.
now, and we could modify this just a little bit depending on the start and end times of Second Street, but right now our AM session runs 8 to 11 and the PM session runs 12 to 3.
And anything else that you want people to know who might be looking into opportunities for their children to really grow and get those kindergarten skills ready as far as Frankfort Independent?
Yeah, I think for our early childhood programs, we also offer Born Learning Academies. We hope to expand to offer a variety of other parent services. And I say that because, public preschool, childcare, all of that is optional. It is not something that's required by our state. It's not something that I anticipate being required anytime soon. So we are a service. We're a service to families, and we're here to try to build whatever is needed for that family construct and for that student. So if it doesn't involve you sending your kid to preschool for 3 hours a day, 4 days a week, and they're a 3-year-old and they may have some speech needs, we can modify a schedule to meet the needs of the individual students and families as long as they meet our qualification and eligibility guidelines. We are a service and we're here to serve families in our community.
And I think that's the most important thing about what Frankfort Independent Preschool does, is that it's all about the family. It's not just a service for the child, it's for the entire family.
Yeah, so, and we're the piece of a regional puzzle. I mean, that's something that you have been such an anchor for our region in early childhood development and assisting child cares. And and really kind of being that liaison between all of the programs. That's something I can say that I am so thankful for you being a part of our team, is just our work that we're doing with all of the child care agencies, in-home care, the public library, our early childhood community council. All of those pieces really go together in a whole regional effort, and we're just glad to be a part of that piece, or a part of that whole picture.
Yeah, I think that's a really good point. It's just not my work, but just that we are. So we try so hard to be community minded and include everyone, which is why we're doing these pieces here, is just to make sure that we include the whole community, because it really is about communities and families in the whole region. So,
absolutely.
All right. Well, thank you so much, Brittney, and I will talk with you soon. And if you have any questions, who should they contact if they need information about upcoming screenings or anything like that?
Yeah, so our Facebook, if you use social media, our Facebook page is Frankfort Preschool and Early Learning Academy. It's kind of long. That's a good way to get information about our recent events. Also, feel free to call Second Street School. People feel free to email myself as well. And if they can put my email, it's Brittney.Howell, BRITTNEY .Howell, HOWELL, at frankfort.kyschools.us. Also on our website, I'm linked there too.